I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, we're going to focus on building the next 3 sections of our web page. So we've already built section 1, section 2, section 3. Now we're going to go to section 4, section 5, and section 6. And don't let any of it scare you. It's actually really, really easy. So we're going to start right here with section 4, and it's called What We Do. And you can see that the background of this banner is going to be white. So let's go ahead and create a white background and start putting in our elements. So I'm now in the editor, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new banner, but I'm going to move my footer out of the way so I have plenty of room. And I'm going to go plus and banner, and I'm just going to choose the top one again and just click it, and it appears in there. I'm going to click and drag it down. And then I'm going to take the arrow and drag it up so it's right up against the previous section. And remember, we want this to be white, so I'm going to right click it and go to appearance. And then I'm going to go to color, and I'm going to click that blue color and change it to white. And now I've got my banner ready, and you can see the bottom of the banner outline right here. So I'm going to expand it a little bit because we need some extra space. We got a lot of pictures and elements to add to this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is add text. But the text is going to be similar to what this is, so I'm just going to click on this and copy and paste it and bring it down. So that made it really easy. And then when I look at the original, that section, it just says what we do. So I'm going to change that to what we do. So I'm going to right click or left click in there and then triple click, and I'm going to say what we do. And I'm going to highlight it all. And I'm going to choose the H1 and center. And for the text color, I'm going to pick a dark gray. Let's see how that goes. That's not quite dark enough. So choose another one. How about this one maybe? And let's see if that's about the same color. No, it needs to be a little bit darker. So let's go ahead and highlight it. And we'll choose a darker gray. Doesn't look like any of them are really an option, so I'm going to go more colors. And here's some colors here with the grayscale. And how about that one? And okay. And there we go. That looks really good. And I think I'm going to bold that. Perfect. So now we've got the what we do, and that looks really good. And then now we're going to be working with some boxes. And I'm going to put boxes inside of boxes. So get ready for something that's a little bit different. So I'm going to go here to plus, and I'm going to grab a box and just the plain old ordinary rectangular box. And I'm going to go ahead and make it bigger. And I'm going to make sure I can see my grid lines because I need to see where my grid lines are. And I'm going to stretch this box from grid line to grid line, just like this. And what I'm going to use this for is kind of a placeholder to put all of my other elements in. So I'm going to make it clear, transparent. So I'm going to go to appearance and color, and I'm just going to click the trash can, and it's transparent now. And remember, the only way we're going to be able to see this is by watching for that kind of green outline. Okay, so we need to be watching for that. Inside of there, I'm going to put another box. So I'm going to go to plus and box, and I'm going to grab another box. And that box now is going to be right inside this box. I'm going to put it like right here and stretch it out. And we're going to use this as a placeholder inside of the placeholder. So I'm going to keep it blue just so I can tell where it's at. And the next thing I'm going to do is add an image. So I'm going to go to plus, and I'm going to go to image, and I'm just going to choose that top one, and I'm going to resize it a little bit and put it inside here. There we go. And then I'll resize it again to fit inside that box. Great. And then I'll shrink the box a little bit to fit that picture. So great. So what I'm looking at is putting 3 of these images side by side on one row. Let's take a look at the original. And you can see I've got this image, and this image. So I'm going to have 3 of them going across. So I want to make sure my box is small enough that I'll be able to fit 3 across. Also, I've got some text. So I can have this text right here and then smaller text right here. So I'm going to copy this text and go back to the editor, and I'm going to add a text box. And we'll make this one title medium, and I'm going to click and drag through it and highlight all of it and paste. And there's our text that we want. I'm going to put that right underneath the picture and then kind of drag it in. And now I need another text box, but this one I want smaller, so I'm going to highlight the text. And the first thing I'm going to do is go get text to copy in. So I'm going to click and drag and copy, and then go to the editor, and I'm going to highlight all of that and paste. But it's too big. I need to make it smaller. So I'm going to click and highlight all of it, and I'm going to go to H4, and that is the perfect size for that picture. Then I'm going to shrink this up a bit. And now what I want to do is make sure that it's big enough that I can go 3 wide. So I'm just going to take and highlight the box, and I'm going to copy paste and paste. Now I've got 3 of them, and I'm going to put them all side by side to make sure they'll all fit inside the space that I have. And it looks like they fit perfectly. So I want you to notice they are all inside that bigger box, and I'm going to kind of close in the size of that bigger box. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to align things. So I need to add the ruler, put a line in there, and the first thing I need to do is align the boxes. So I'm going to grab the box and do the snap to, grab the box, do the snap to, and then we're going to make sure this one is in the center. And one way to make sure that the box in the center is actually in the center is to right click the box and choose center element. Then that puts it right dead smack in the center. And then I can kind of look at that spacing right there to see if it matches, and it does match pretty well. So I am happy with that. So what I've done is I've created boxes inside of boxes. I added the images, I added the text, and now I've got everything inside that big box. You can see that big box right there. And I'll close that in a little bit. And what I can do is I can make sure that all the formatting in that big box is the way I want it, and then I can copy that big box. So I want to go ahead and click these boxes inside right here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to appearance, and I'm going to take away the color. So I'm going to click the trash can, and because they're all made from the same style of box, it takes the color off of all of them, which is really, really cool. So now I've got the formatting the way I want. I'm going to click the bigger box, and I'm going to copy paste, and I have now a brand new section, and I'm going to pull that down, and I'm going to create some space to be able to do that. Pull that down here, and I'm going to click in there, grab that box, and pull it down and put it underneath the first set of images. So that was super fast to create that area. It wasn't very hard to do, and you did it really fast. So now all we need to do really is just change the pictures. So let's go in and right click this picture and choose change image. And we're going to just grab one of the images that's in our repository. So I'm going to go to fruit stand, and this image looks really good, so I'm going to click it and put it in there. And then I'm going to right click the next one, change image, and we'll go to our fruit stand, and we'll change it to this image and confirm. And I'm going to right click and change image, and we'll go to our fruit stand again, and we'll grab the strawberry image, and I'm going to right click and change image again, fruit stand, and we'll go to the dragon fruit image and right click and change image again. We'll go to fruit stand, and we'll choose this image right here. And then one more time, right click and change image. And looks like we'll choose one of the last ones. So go to fruit stand and right there and confirm. So now we've got that whole section completely finished. I know it looked a little bit scary, but actually it's really, really easy. Just remember, we've got a big box, and then we've got 3 little boxes inside. And inside of each of those little boxes, we have an image, then the kind of the title of the image, and then a little bit of text. One of the things that we can do to make that text look even neater is to click inside of it and then choose Control A to choose all of it, and then I'm going to justify it, and that makes it go from left to right looking like it's book text, and it looks really nice. So I'm going to do that to all of them. So I'm going to double click in there, triple click in there, and justify. Double click, triple click, justify. Double click, triple click, justify, double click, triple click, justify, and one more, double click, triple click, justify. You can see that doing it individually takes a lot more time. So really you want to do it the best way possible, which is to create the first one, get it exactly the way you want it, and then copy it inside of that big box. And then once you get the big box created, just copy the big box and you'll have a second row. Very easy to do. Now let's go ahead and click our banner, and here's the line at the bottom of our banner. We want to click and drag that up. And remember, we want about the same space at the top here, at the bottom here, so we're going to drag it just a little bit more, and that should be plenty of space. And now we're ready to do the next section. So let's take a look at the next section, and that is this red section right here. This one's super duper easy. So I'm going to go back to the original, but before I do, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this and copy it because we're going to need it. And then I'm going to go back, and we're going to create a new banner. So I'm going to go to banner, choose the first one, fabulous, and I'm going to make it shorter because we don't need a really big banner. And I'm going to bring it down here, drop our footer, and then click on the banner and drag it up until it stops. So we've got the beginnings of our banner. I'm going to go ahead and change the color because we want it that same red color that the header is. So I'm going to go all the way to the top to the header. I'm going to right click the header and go to appearance, and there is our header 1 custom. I'm going to click the gear, and I'm click color. There's our color right there, and I'm going to click it, and what I'm going to do is go to more colors. There's the color right there. I'm going to choose it to save that color, and it's going to put it down here so I can use it again. So I'm going to click save, and there's that red. So now I can use it anywhere I want to, which is fabulous. So I'm going to scroll back down. I'm going to right click this banner, go to appearance, go to color. I'm going to click that blue, and right there's that red, so I'm going to click it and OK. And that's how fast it is to change the color of that one. And then the text, I'm going to go ahead and grab this one right here because it's really close to what we want for that banner. And I'm going to drag it down. So all I did was copy and paste it. And then I'm going to kind of shrink it up a little bit, and we're going to change it to white. So let me paste my text in there, and then I'm going to stretch it a little bit like that. I'm going to make it left justified, and now I'm going to highlight it and change it to white. And now we've got that one there. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. And I'm going to go get the text from the other little text box. So I'm going to hop over to the original, and I'm going to grab this text and copy it, and then go back to our editor, and I'm going to add another text box. This one we'll say is a body large, which is great. It dumped it up here, so I'm going to just click and drag it. And then I'm going to double click, triple click, and paste. And there's our text that we had. I'll highlight it and change it to white. Perfect. And then I'm going to line it up right here to go with the original text that we put on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and shrink this one. And remember, about the same amount of space that's in the top, we put on the bottom. So now we're almost finished with this. We need our button. And believe it or not, we've already made our button. And we did that over here. This is the button right here. So I'm going to click on it and copy and then paste. And now I'm just going to bring it down here to the bottom. So I have to click and drag it. And I'll just keep dragging it until I get it all the way down here. I'll put it exactly where I want it. And now that banner is actually done. And I'm going to go ahead and click save and save again. And I also want you to notice that when I paid attention to the amount of space here versus here, I also paid attention to how much space is here versus here. You want it to be about the same. When you do things like this, it makes your website look nice and neat, and it's easy on the eyes of your visitors. So they aren't made uncomfortable by things that aren't quite symmetrical. So that's just a way to create a really nice, clean looking site. So now I'm going to go ahead and drag my footer down again because I have another area that I need to add, and that is the contact form. So let's jump over and take a look at it. And our contact form has name, email, subject, and message. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this text. So I'm just going to copy it, and I'll remember this contact us. So I'm going to go back to the original and put those text boxes in there. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste it. And I don't want to use the Control-C or it's going to mess up what I have copied. So I'm going to copy it here. So I right-clicked and I'm going to click copy. And I'm going to pull this down. And it's white, so we can't see it. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to choose the color. And in this color, I'm going to click that dark gray. Not quite it, so we'll try it again. And we'll go to custom colors, and we'll pick this dark gray right here, and OK. And I think I'm going to go ahead and bold it. That'll make it kind of stand out a little bit more. And then I'm going to center it. So I'll click center, and then I'll right click and center the element. And now I'm going to change that to contact us. Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and center it again to make sure that it's completely centered. And now I'm going to add another text box. And to do that, I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm going to right click and go to copy, and I'll pull it down. And for this one, I want to change it to that same gray. So I'm going to go to more colors and go to the same gray and then click OK. And I'm going to stretch it out a little bit too. So we'll stretch it out just a little bit. And I'm going to double click, triple click, center, and then paste the text that I had from the other original site. And then I'm going to stretch it a little bit more so that it kind of stretches across. And let's see if we can kind of, there we go. That's great. So now we're going to put that right under there. I'm going to right click it and go to center, and everything looks great. Let's kind of compare that to the original. This one's a lot smaller, but I think I'm going to keep it my size because I like it my size. So I'm going to go back to mine. And remember that anything you do, you don't have to do it exactly like the example. You have a lot of freedom to make it exactly like how you want it. So the next thing I'm going to do is add the contact form. So I'm going to go to plus, and I'm going to go down here, and there's two different types of forms we have, a contact form and an email marketing form. I'm going to choose the contact, so I'm going to click that, and I have a bunch of options here. I'm going to scroll down and take a look at the options to see if there's anything that jumps out at me, and I don't see anything specific, so I'm going to just grab this one right here and click right on it, and it will add it to my page. So then I'm going to go ahead and pull this down, and it's already really close to done, but there's a couple changes that I want to make. First of all, we had the first name, the email, the subject, and the message, but we didn't have last name. So let's take that off. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to elements. And on the elements, I'm going to go ahead and delete the last name. To delete that, I need to delete the box it's in. So I'm going to click that negative and OK, and now that's gone. And so now I've got first name. And actually, I think I want to put them all in the same area. So I'm going to click and drag that down, and then I'm going to delete that box. Okay. And then the subject, I'm going to put right there, and then I'm going to delete that box. Okay. And then the message, I'm going to pull that up and add it to that box and delete the empty boxes. So there's an empty box, and there's an empty box. And now I've got all the elements in one box, which is exactly how I wanted it. And now I'm going to put them in the order that I want. So I want the name, then I want the email, the subject, and the message. And that's all I want on my form, so I'm going to click confirm. So now I've got a great form already, and I'm going to go ahead and make a few changes. So I'm going to go to appearance. And I've got a couple of form options. You can see if I hover over them, it changes the design of the form. I'm just going to stick with the one that I have and click the gear to edit. And now I'm going to go into form field label styles. This is where I can choose on these labels what the text looks like. I can change the form field styles. That's this one right here. So I can make that bigger. which is great. And I can even bold them if I want to, but I'm just going to keep them not bolded. And I can change the color. I really like the gray. That is, it doesn't like jump out at you, so I'm going to keep it gray. And the field spacing, I can choose to space it further apart or closer together. I like it about there. That's perfect. The height of each of the boxes, I can change that. So I can make the height bigger, or I can make it smaller. I think I'm going to keep it right about there, which is perfect. I can create a border around the box, but I'm going to keep that hidden. I can also do a shadow, but I don't want to do a shadow. So I'm going to uncheck the shadow. So now the shadow is gone. And I can also choose the style of the button. That's the button right here. So if I go down to that area, let me go ahead and close this and choose style of button. So I want to change the button to the same color of the buttons that I have in the other two areas of this page. And that was that green color. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to choose that green, and then click OK. Now it's matching the other buttons the exact same color. And I'm going to go ahead and edit it a little bit more and go back to my button area. And I can choose to change the space from the top. I can click and drag that, and it actually moves it further down. Do you see that? But I don't really want to make that much space, so I'm going to just move it closer to the form. And then the size of the button, right now it's taken up about 1/3 of the size of the whole form. And I think I want it to go all the way across, so I'm going to change the size to 100%. And that takes it all the way across. And then the next thing I want to change is the height. It's just really, really small, and I want to make it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to change the height just like that. And in so doing that, it looks like my text for the button is really small, so we're going to change the size of the text. So that's done right here. Right now it's at 18. I'm going to click it and make it bigger. That looks perfect. And I think that does it for the form. Let me pull my button down. And one of the things that I didn't do is I started to add this, but I didn't add my banner. So right now there's no banner right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Contact Us, and I'm going to drag it down. I'm going to drag it way down. There we go. And I'm going to click plus, and I'm going to click Banner. And I'm going to choose this banner right here, the first one. And we've now got a blue banner. I'm going to click the arrow and drag it all the way up to the previous banner. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Appearance, and I'm going to take the color, and I'm going to make it white. So now that I've got a banner there, I need to start moving my elements into that banner. So what I need to do is click and drag it until that banner gets highlighted. And then I can drop it, and it will be on the banner. Same thing with this one. Drag it until it highlights, and then drop it. And with the form, drag it until it highlights, and then drop it. And now I'm going to click the banner and actually expand it so that it's bigger, and I can kind of juggle and move my stuff around. So Contact Us, I'm going to put it where I want it. I'm going to right click and go to Center. This one, I'm going to put it about where I want it, right click and center. And then the form, I'm going to put it about where I want it, right click and center. Notice how much space I've got from the first element to the top. I'm going to try to create that about that same amount of space at the bottom of this banner. So there we go. And now I've added the Contact Us, the text, and the form. Now I need to configure the form so that it can collect information and send it to me via email. So I'm going to go ahead and right click it, and I'm going to go to Configure. Now there's two options when you're configuring a contact form. On the right hand side, you can choose to do a post method or a get method. And that's where they put in their data, their information like their name and their email, and then you send it to a database and it adds that information to the database. Or we're going to do what's on the left hand side, which is where they fill out the form, and then everything that they filled out is sent to you in an email. So you get an email with all of their information. So that's how we're going to do this one. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit on the left hand side. And there's a few things you need to fill out. The first one is, where do you want this information to go to? So you need to put in your email. And this is where the information is going to be received. If you want more than one email in there because you want the results to go to more than one place, you just add a comma and add a second email in there, and the results of this form will go to 2 different emails. And then you need to add a subject. And for this particular item, I'm going to put fruit stand contact form. That way, when it arrives in my email, it will say fruit stand contact form, and I will know exactly where this email came from. I will know that it was a user on the website that filled out the form to contact me. Okay? On the choose a list of coupons, you don't have to do anything there. On the action taken after they fill out the form, you can choose no action, or if you click that, if you want them to go to a page after they fill out the form, a specific website address that's not a part of this website, if they download a document when they fill out this form, or do you want to do a pop-up? I'm not going to do any of them. I'm going to keep it no action. And then there's an automated email message so that if they do respond, you can send them an email. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click confirm. And then right here we have a success message. And what that means is after they fill out the form, they'll get a little pop-up message that says, thank you for submitting your information. So all I'm going to do is click that, and I'm going to add in a success message. So all I did is put in, thank you for contacting us. We will respond within 24 hours. And then I'm going to click confirm. And what that means is when they fill out this form and they hit send, it will pop up real quickly and it will say that exact message. Thank you for contacting us. We will respond within 24 hours. That part is done. Now I want to go ahead and change what it says right here on the button. It says send. I want to change it to submit. So I'm going to right click it and go to button. And on this one, I'm going to put in submit and then confirm. And now it's ready to go. So we've completely configured our contact form. It is ready to go. I'm going to make sure that I've got the right amount of space at the bottom of this banner and the top of this banner. And I need to grab my footer and kind of pull it up a little bit. And I've made a lot of changes, so let me go ahead and click save and then save again. And we are now ready to work on one of the last sections and our footer. So I'll see you in the next video.